Gotcha. All right, welcome back. Welcome back to another edition, special workshop edition of Boundaries and Brotherhood. And as promised, at the end of the month, we're gonna do the workshop pillar number six. Pillar number six is gonna be basically. Let's see if I can. Oh, here you. Now it's gonna go live. Oh, here we go. Now it's gonna go live on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, even Telegram, even in Facebook. So today's workshop, guys, is gonna be about emotional intelligence and the control of the nervous system. Pillar number six, guys. While I get us all set up technically, Doc, I'm gonna put this slide up there. Tell us what we're gonna be going over, and we're gonna take it away because we're burning the candles on both ends. We're gonna do a fast one.
Yes. Yeah. Not gonna be long-winded today, guys. Well, I say that, but then I'll probably end up doing it anyways. It's Dr. Keith Fairclough. Welcome everybody back to Boundaries and Brotherhood. Today we are gonna be talking about emotional intelligence. And I know it's a word that's thrown around a lot, and people have a lot of different definitions and meanings to it. So I guess I'll throw my hat in the ring as well. When it comes to emotional intelligence, I like to just keep it simple. It's really just understanding what our emotions tell us and learning how to respond accordingly. That's what emotional intelligence is. To kind of keep it as simple as possible. Because the fact of the matter is, our emotions, there are no good or bad emotions. There are no positive or negative emotions or anything like that. Our emotions they're all good, right? Because they're messages from our brain that are trying to give us information on how to proceed in a certain situation. So what we're going to be doing then is we're going to be going over, we're not going to go into all the different emotions and everything like that, but we're going to kind of give you a brief overview of what emotional intelligence is, just so you can have something to kind of work with within yourself, right? Because this is a really, really big area when we start talking about emotions and what they mean and things like that. And we absolutely do not have time for it. That could literally be a 3-4 day workshop just going over that, because there's so many different emotions. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, though.
No, understand this, guys. Having control or the reactionary part of your emotional is what emotional intelligence is all about. Because if you can control your system, you can find cues out. This will be modules going into our further for our sovereignty workshops and stuff. But we, as promised, we want to give you something to latch onto. So if you're reactionary, you have anger issues like me, you have frustration issues, you certain things. These are certain things that we're going to be going over. And Doc, by looking at this first slide, especially with that quote, how do you like it, guys?
Yeah, your life rises and falls on your ability to work with your emotions, not run from them. That is so true. That is so true. A lot of us are experiencing, a lot of people experience trauma and hurt and sadness. And, because we don't deal with it, certain beliefs are created. And because those beliefs are created, they keep us stuck in these loops. But if we know how to deal with an emotion, you know how to deal with anxiety, you learn how to deal with depression and fear and anger and, happiness and joy, you know how to deal with these things, then you're not controlled by them anymore. And the best way I can liken it to is, if you ever seen a Marvel movie with Tony Stark, I think it was, I want to say it was Iron Man 2, when he was in his room, right? Or even I think an Endgame as well, where he's like moving all these things around in like inside this like space, right? Where he's making all these changes and everything like that. That's how I view us when it comes to emotional intelligence. Like, we're inside our own mind and we actually have control, right? Because when we talk about being a sovereign man is not someone who runs from his emotions. It's not someone who feigns like, I don't feel anything and nothing bothers me. That's not a sovereign man. Right? That's someone who's operating in fear and societal programming. A sovereign man is, like I just said, they're in the center of their space and they command that, right? And part of commanding that is commanding your emotions. If you cannot command your emotions, then it's difficult for you to be a sovereign man, because then if you don't command your emotions, you don't know what they mean, you don't know how to respond to them. What ends up happening is, then I don't want to say they control you, but the lack of you learning how to control them will definitely do damage to your system, damage to your relationships, damage to your interactions. And unfortunately, you won't necessarily know why, because you're not in that space. We're going to teach you how to go about doing that and how to be in that space so that you can command your emotions.
What would be some of the pain points in like a situation of a person just watching this for the first time? How would you explain it in like short, simple forms while I get the slide ready and move on?
The pain points would be that you actually feel things. If you are someone who feels things in your body, you feel things in your mind, you have certain thoughts, right? Maybe you don't know the actual word to put to it. Maybe you can't put the word hurt. Maybe you can't put the word anxious. Maybe you can't put the
Mm,
word sad. Maybe you can't put the word to it, but you know something's there, right? And you just, I don't know how to deal with it. I can't engage in conversations with my wife because I don't know how to deal with the emotions that come with it. Or sometimes it's people who are scared of conflict or confrontation. It's not the conflict you're scared of. It's, I don't know what to do with the things that are happening inside me. And since I don't like how it feels, because there are unpleasant emotions, right? But there's a reason they're unpleasant, right? And it's not a bad thing.
no.
If there's an unpleasant smell in your bathroom, that gives you a message. My bathroom smells bad, and so I need to do something about it. And depending on the smell will depend on what I need to do. Maybe I just need to air it out. Maybe I just spray it down, or maybe I just turn the fan on, whatever the case may be. Our emotions the same way. But unfortunately, how we operate more often than not when we talk about this pain point is we go in the bathroom and it stinks, and we just sit there and complain about how much it stinks. And then we talk about when
Mm,
we externalizing back, oh, this bathroom's so horrible, it's just terrible bathroom. And we start finding reasons why the bathroom's so bad. Or we internalize and be, well, maybe it's me and I'm the problem. And or maybe we'll start internalizing that, oh, this is just how things are. As opposed to saying, no, the bathroom stinks, it just needs to be cleaned. Or the bathroom smells like, ooh, don't go in there and turn the fan on, or light a candle or something along those lines. Our emotions are the exact same way, right? It might be unpleasant. Anxiety might feel unpleasant. Oh, being depressed might feel unpleasant, but it's sending you a message. And once you know how to deal with it the right way, then you can actually get the results you're looking for and stop living in isolation, stop living in fear, stop living in pain, stop living with lies, stop living the way you've been living your entire life. You don't have
right.
to be stuck. You don't have to be stuck in your situation. And please don't let society tell you that, oh, yeah, if you're depressed, you're going to be depressed forever. Or if you're anxious, you're just going to be anxious forever. It's like, those are lies. There's a very, very minuscule, small percentage of people who are, in a state where their biochemistry is so thrown off that they're stuck in that state. And it's not even forever, because once you get that straight, then the problem goes away. So don't believe the lie that just because you're experiencing some type of mental health issue that you're going to be stuck at that forever. There's a
No,
reason why you got there. And once you
yeah.
understand the emotions, and once you understand how to deal with it, then you can get yourself out of there.
No, you're 100% right, because you look at all the UFC. Look at the slide right here, right? If you get your check engine light, you're able to you can drive around with your check engine light, but you need to have emotional depth and sovereign energy to control yourself so you not get so reactive. Look at the best fighters, the UFC fighters, the boxers, everything. They all control their nervous system and they rely on their training, because at the end of the day, they need to be disciplined, suffice, and they need to know instead of being really reactionary. And that's what you can use that for any type of emotion. Talking about from a guy that has 1,000 hours of anger management and frustration and dealing with all the different people, I've had to learn this, and understanding the emotional cues, the words that match, the nervous system that matches the brain. And then once you get that, you can unleash your shackles, right? The governor that society has told you, the conditioning, the societal conditioning, the lie
Mhm.
that you got to be numb to it, or some sort of old adage or verbiage that your dad, grandpa told you. I need to work harder, be isolated. Not be a el baracho, a masculine man. Everything is a
Mhm.
safe way because you're being isolating yourself. It's all full of crap, because
Yes.
you never learned it. They never learned it, so they couldn't pass
Yeah,
it on to you, right?
that's true.
And you look at the other engine, that the post sign, the symptom, bottled emotions is just leading to something to blow up. And I'm
Yes.
guilty of it also,
True.
because when you do that, you kind of unleash on somebody that you might care about. You have so many people going through certain anger issues. We just had a shooting about the Five Below because the person was texting his girl. You know what I mean? Like, what the, oh,
Yeah.
he go in his Five Below and
Oh,
shot the guy, right? So it's a lot of different
oh
things, and
man.
this is what having you are basically a Ferrari in a Hyundai.
Man.
You know what I mean? But you just gotta be able to control it. And once you're in that state, like Tony Robbins says, Eric Thomas says, once you're in that state, guys, where we want to get you to with the modules that's coming out, This is where you really explode, and this is where you become the confident, sovereign, the 11th man, the person that gravitates everything. Where kids, animals, and everything want to gravitate to you, not just because of being loud and obnoxious and being an alpha male type, is because you hold that persona and you command the respect you truly deserve and you were born to be. Right?
Yeah. You know,
And then
and
go
Gordon,
on with the fix, Doc.
yeah, Gordon, honestly, I mean, like I said, he's spot on with all of that, guys. He's spot on with all of that because, and if anyone can speak to this, he could definitely speak to it. When you talk about not being able to control your emotions and understand what they mean, you end up making decisions that could change your life forever, and not
Oh,
just your life, but the
absolutely.
lives of others. Like Gordon, imagine if you had the information that we're talking about now. We talk about
Oh,
pain points. Imagine if you knew what your emotions they meant, if you knew what your baseline was, if you knew how to
mhm.
respond to them, if you knew not to take things personal, you knew not that it
Right.
was the upbringing in your past that brought you to the point where you are, but you get a chance to make the decision. You don't have to go based off your emotions, right? And so that would have been a massive difference in your life, your children's lives, a whole bunch of. There have been so many lives. So we talk about that pain point. you know we could be one bad decision away
All the
from
time.
changing our lives in the worst way forever. But if you can
Right.
get a hold of this, if you can start learning emotional intelligence, you can start learning what your emotions are telling you, you will stop yourself before you make that bad decision. Because more
Yep.
often than not, we end up looking back on our life and saying, dang, bro, if I would have just made a different decision, if I wouldn't have skipped school that day, if I wouldn't have said
One
those
choice.
things, just one, right? So it's really important. You talk about the pain point. The pain point is your emotions are going to drive you into a life you don't want if you don't get control of it. If you don't understand them, you don't learn what they mean and how to respond appropriately, you're going to ruin your entire life. So,
And just to say something on that before we go to the next
yeah,
slide, right?
yeah, yeah,
You are already our memory as of right now. You are a memory. How are you going to be remembered? Right?
yeah,
That's the whole thing. Because you want to be remembered as somebody that had it in control, that gave guidance, gave of information, did everything. Or are you going to be has been isolating yourself and just be dust in the wind later?
yeah,
At Boundaries and Brotherhood here, we want to get you so that you can be remembered in a way that you want to be remembered, to leave a legacy for your kids and information that can be done for yourself. And that's what we do here, because at the end of the day, guys, I want to be remembered for changing people's lives. And anybody I came in contact with, I point them in the direction, and this is just the start.
yeah,
Okay, now to fix it, guys, this is what we're going to have to go over. Okay, we're inside the paradigm shift of numbness. Please explain, Doc, because I see this. This is really dark and deep, actually, sometimes.
yeah. A lot of times, societally wise, we as men have been taught to suppress our emotions. Like a real man is someone who suppresses them. He doesn't feel and we call that control, right? We call that control. That's, and I'll be honest, using the example of the car, you know, saying using that as an example, it's almost like saying like, oh, I'm a race car driver, and the way to control the car is keep my feet on the brakes and keep the e-brake up. That like y'all would look at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, no, 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 no. I'm in complete control, right? That's not what control is.
Mhm.
And using that as an example, right? You guys can get that, right? If you ever seen NASCAR or F1
Yep,
or
I was just
any
about
kind
to
of
say.
racing, you've seen Fast and Furious, or anything along those lines, you get that. No, control means I am moving and I have the ability to understand the different dynamics that are going on, and I can adjust accordingly. I can adapt. I can learn. I can grow. I can move. That's what real control is. But just taking the route of I'm going to be stoic all the time, that's not control. That's putting your feet on the brakes of your emotions, the feet on the brakes of your life. And again, we've talked about this before. I'm not saying there aren't moments that stoicism is critically important, right? If you're in the middle of war or in a shootout, it's not the time to try to process your emotions. Hey, Mr. Bad Guy, I don't feel safe with you shooting your bullets at me. Could you please stop? Like, that's not the time for that, right? You know, something happens to your friend next to you. It's not the time to grieve. You know, we got to move. So there's a place for it. But
Right.
unfortunately, society has taught us that the whole mark of being a man is to shut all your emotions down and just don't feel anything. Right. Except maybe anger, and maybe happiness, right? Like that's it. And even then with the happiness, there's some people who don't even like that too much. Like, oh, you're too happy. Tone it down. It's like, what?
Right.
So really, the only thing you're really allowed to feel is anger, and honestly, you're not really feel that. So if you really think about it, right? Like, because it's not like people can be angry and everyone's like, "Oh, it's okay." No. So ultimately, yeah, you're not to feel anything. So a lot of times we default to is the numbness, right? By hey,
Yep.
I'm not allowed to feel anything. So, but I'm feeling all these things. I don't know what to do with it. And it's not safe for me to open up and talk about it because I'm called feminine or weak or gay or something along those lines if I express any of my emotions. So I hold it all in and I'm dying on the inside and I'm having breakdowns and I'm having thoughts of unaliving myself. But it's okay. I can't share that with anybody. So I have to numb that. I have to distract
Right.
that. I have to smoke it away. I have to drink it away. I have to drug it away. I have to engage in work to the nth degree. I have to go and have fun with the boys. I have to be on the games. I have to do whatever I got to do to escape this feeling and this feeling of numbness. And I got to keep going and going and going and going and going because the moment I slow down, that's the moment it all comes rushing right back. Because that's the thing with emotions. They don't go away. They stay
It's in
right
you.
there.
Yep.
Yeah, it's you.
Yep.
Like wherever you go,
It's
there
you.
you are.
Yep.
Wherever you
It's
go,
only
there
you.
you are. So when it comes to that, right, we can't default to feeling numb. We can't default to this false paradigm. We got to make sure it's like, okay, I'm feeling these things. Maybe I don't know what to do with it. Maybe I don't know what to call it, but let me go get some help so I can
Right.
help to navigate this. Because the one thing I want you guys to, another thing I want you guys to understand is that it's okay for us to feel like we're supposed to feel. Like
You're
I have a
human.
program called Emotions Are the Language of the Brain, right?
It
You're
is.
supposed to feel. And once you understand the language, you know what to do with it. You wouldn't get
Exactly.
mad at someone for speaking Spanish if they spoke Spanish. They're trying to convey a message to you. Your job is to try
That's
to
all it is.
understand them.
Yep.
Translate it, get a translator, learn Spanish yourself. So in this case, your emotions, we're trying to teach you how to speak the language of emotion. So that when your brain gives you these messages, you could actually have a back and forth conversation. You know, anxiety comes up and it says, hey, we don't know if we're prepared for what's coming our way. You know, and so it's asking the question, are we ready for it? It's all anxiety asking. Just give you this one quick tip, right? It's all anxiety is asking you, right? Are we ready for what's coming? Because we don't know if we are. Do we have the
There-
capacity to handle this thing,
Yep.
this deadline, this conversation, this bill, this whatever? And the answer is either yes, we got it, we're good, don't worry about it, or no, we don't, let's prepare. That's it.
That's it.
But if you don't know what it's
Simple.
telling you, if it's coming in speaking another language, you're like, I don't know what you're talking about, and I don't like how it feels, so I'm going to run away. It's going to chase you down. It's going to
Right.
bang on the door of your brain. It's going to end up like rumination. It's going to end up as panic attacks. It's going to end up as depression. It's going to end up as procrastination. It's going to continue to show up until you learn to face it instead of trying to numb yourself. And then once you learn to start doing that, it's like, that's all I wanted to know. All I wanted to know is if we're ready for it. That's it. Thank you for letting me know. Now we can relax. Now we don't have to be in fight or flight anymore. Now we don't have to flood our body with cortisol. Now we don't got to be stressed out because you just answered the question. So we got to break away from this false paradigm of numbness. And we really have to make sure we're learning more about ourselves and learn about more of our emotions so that we can learn how to navigate them and not just try to, again, numb ourselves and all these different things I just said so we don't have to feel it anymore.
No, you are. I mean, 100% right, because emotions are your pathway to the reactionary thing that you're gonna do. If you know the emotions that you have, like this shift right here, emotions make you irrational. No, emotions make you aware, depending on which emotion it is. You mean I should control my emotions? It's awareness of what you're gonna do with those emotions that makes you have the behavior you're going to have after. Because if once you know how to regulate them so that you can stop being reactionary, stop having anger, stop being frustrated, you become a content, sovereign, controlled man where you can exceed your expectations of yourself. Because, like Doc said, unless you are, unless you can't run away from yourself. So if you can be by yourself and you can be okay with yourself, you don't need to have nobody over, you don't have to drink, you don't have to smoke, you don't have to do dope, you don't have the agitation to want to go out, be in the clubs, all this bullshit.
Mhm.
That's when you know you became one with yourself and you're good with it because you have awareness and you've questioned everything to become this person. Like I tell most people, right? A lot of people, to me, I mean, I'm just speaking from experience, is
Mhm.
they should go to prison for a little while and have control of their emotions and sit in the hole, sit in the shoe with the emotions in that echo chamber because that's all you got. I've seen people lose their shit because lose their mind because they can't deal with whatever they had going on and they blame it and they try to suppress it, they try to do everything with it. But once you can get over that hump, guys, and you figured it out, a lot of things can go in your way. And that's what I try to teach my boys right now. The validation, I keep telling them, the only person that's going to make you happy is yourself, not even me or
Mhm.
mom.
It's
And you know
true.
what? And it's like, I don't want you to seek validation. I will give you direction, some approval, this and that. But the number one thing I want you to do is be happy with yourself and not expect anything else. And they
Yes.
understand. I'm teaching them at 3 and 4 right now because of
Yeah.
what Doc is teaching, what Boundaries and Brotherhood teach me, what our free community. If you look at the bottom, go.boundariesandbrotherhood.com. It's a free community where we're going to put all our stuff in there and it's already there.
Yeah.
Guys, toxicity and emotions is not emasculated. It actually makes you a better whole person. And you can talk to
Mhm.
any female that wants to have that, but you have to also be stoic in a way, like Doc said, when you can use that to control yourself, not other people.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going down this rabbit hole. We good, Doc.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this one. Does this look familiar, Doc? This is your words.
Ah. I would hope
Ah.
so. So, I mean, we won't spend a whole lot of time here because I already talked about it in the last couple of
Mhm,
slides
mhm.
about emotions, right? And so, essentially, again, it's the language of the brain. It's data. It's just trying to let you know. And but I will say this though. Me also this, right? While yes, it is messages from your brain, but just because you feel it doesn't necessarily mean it is true, right? It doesn't necessarily mean it's true because sometimes we could perceive a situation a certain way. And then because of how we perceive the situation, we will generate an emotion, a message from the brain on how to now deal with that situation. So, perfect example is, let's say someone's going to throw you a surprise party, and because it's your birthday, and then you think people forgot, so now you're disappointed. Why? Because your brain is taking the information. Oh, no one remembered my birthday. That means no one cares about me. Man, I'm sad and disappointed, right? And then everyone hops out and says, surprise, right? Oh, that changes things. They didn't forget about my birthday. And therefore, the
Right.
message of disappointment now goes away. Oh, we don't need to talk like that anymore. Why? Because then I have new information. And so this is why it's so critical to make sure we're engaging in conversations with other people. We take time to understand their perspective and we learn to listen. And people
Perspective.
that are talking to that we're talking to need to listen to us, because when you understand why someone their perspective and why they were feeling the way they were feeling, it makes sense. It makes sense as to why maybe they were down and out throughout the day because they
Mhm.
thought everyone forgot their birthday. That makes sense. I understand why you'd feel that way. Maybe there's a better way to go about it next time, because we don't want you to feel disappointed all day, especially when we care about you and love you, right?
Right.
So maybe we can go about it different next time. But the fact of the matter is that we do care about you, and that's why we did the birthday, right? So just because you feel it doesn't necessarily mean it's 100% accurate, because it's really based off our perspective, and our perspective is highly subjective, right? So just
Subjective
keep
is
that
the
in
word.
mind,
Yeah.
right? Keep
Yes.
that in mind.
All right.
Yeah.
This is the one that gets me, right? The boy, when you're a man and you have control of your emotions versus you going through puberty, going to your late teens, going into 20s, and you don't have control of all your hormones and all this other good stuff going on, and you look at this slide, you tell me, guys out there, what do you want to have? Because I'm going to tell you, the one on the side, the 11th man, the sovereign man, the confident man, will be able to get the girl, get the life they deserve, get the promotions they want, have the people that's under them, if they're in management position or above, to have them work for you without a flaw. And how do I know this? Because the person on the right, when action is needed and action precedes belief, knows that I've been through what you've been through. I went through all the pain and failed so miserably that I can give you this information in a way that makes you whole as a person.
Mm.
Now, versus the boy section where it's like, I only act and feel like, you look at any teenager we deal with real talk with our teenagers, friends, they want to do what they want to do as teenagers and be buttholes, right? But
Mm.
when you can get them from a teen to understand this, guess what happens? You become a whole man, a sovereign man, a confident man, a man that can actually move mountains by just having presence.
Yeah.
Oh, is that me? That's not
No, I
me.
think that no, that's me.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, my phone, I didn't know it picked it up
Now
like
you're
that. So yeah, and I'll even say this, right? I wouldn't even use a dynamic of a boy and a man, right? Because there are some boys that are more emotionally intelligent than men. As a
true.
matter of fact,
True.
I
True.
would say children, because they haven't learned all the lies, they haven't believed all the lies, they
Mm,
haven't been conditioned by all the lies, so a lot of times they're a lot more authentic and real than any adult, right? Because
true.
we're all boxed in. We're
Very true.
boxed in by culture. We're boxed in by religion. We're boxed in by society. We're boxed in by so many different
Pressure.
lies. You
Yep.
know, a kid will look at you and be like, "You smell funny." Right? Maybe they could use some more tact with that, but at least they're being open and honest, or
Yep.
if they're
Yeah,
sad, what do they
absolutely.
do? They cry. I'm disappointed,
Yep.
right? So they
Yep.
feel their emotions, and yeah, they could stand to learn how to control it, but that's our job to teach them, just like it's
Yes.
our job to teach you, right? Because the thing is, if you never learn the skills to be emotionally intelligent, to regulate your emotions, if you never learn those skills, you never learn how to be mindful, you never learn how to find your baseline and how to stay there and if you never learned that, right? Then there can be no expectation for you to do something you never learned. If you never learned calculus, I've never learned calculus, don't come to me asking me how to do calculus, right? I don't know. I know there's letters and numbers and symbols and things like that. That's the best I can tell you. I can tell you with some kind of math. And then that's where a lot of us as men are. We can tell you that where something's going on inside. I can't tell you what I'm going to do with it. I feel like it's destroying me on the inside. I want to blow up, or I'm just going to lose it on everybody, or I just want to go end it all, whatever the case may be, right? Like that's what's going on inside. So I think instead of, looking at it as like a boy and a man and things like that, I think it's good for, hey, either we have the skills or we don't, because you can learn these skills and it can change your life. I think that's the biggest take home message we're trying to give you, is that there are skills you can learn that will change your life. Right. So
Absolutely.
that's the whole idea. And then the sovereign man is someone who is willing to learn. It's not a man who's perfect, but it's a man who's willing to learn and change and grow and be better and be the
And
absolute
that's
best
the
version of
key.
himself. Right.
Yeah.
And then pour back
That's
into
the key.
those around him. So
I mean, I agree with you 100% because if you're not getting the things that you want right now internally and it's coming out externally, this is what Boundaries and Brotherhood are all about. Our workshops, our challenges, our community, our free PDFs, everything our emotional motivations that go out every single day is there for you to understand that you can change. That between my experience, Doc's profession, right, combined together, we came up with Doc's thing right here. Doc, you recognize that? His trademark Sir method.
ah oh
he lit up.
well, this is definitely this is part of it, right?
Right.
As far as when it comes to being able to emotional intelligence and recognition, right? Like you have to be able to recognize what you're feeling. You got to put a name to it. So
Right.
much peace can come from being able to name what you're feeling, because now
Mhm.
you're not crazy anymore. Now,
Yeah.
now you don't have some type
You
of mental
notice it.
health diagnosis. And let me just say this as well. I hope people understand what a mental health diagnosis is. It's just like any other label, any other diagnosis across any medical field or across the board, right? Let me keep it simple for you. You have a spice rack. Your spice rack has a label on it. Why is there a label on it? Because so you know exactly what's in the bottle. You know what to use it for. You know, if you have salt and sugar next to each other and there's no label, guess what? You're not going to know what to use it for. And you're going to either have really, really, really sweet something or really, 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 really salty something. And as someone experienced that when I was younger. Me and my brother used salt to make sugar cookies. It doesn't turn out really good, right? So I'm telling you. So when it comes to mental health diagnoses, it's not some death sentence. Just as much as having a common cold is not a death sentence. It simply labels. It's what we as clinicians use to label a certain set of behaviors, so we can track it to a certain set of interventions. That's it. That's it. So being able to recognize your emotions, the same thing for you. Once you can recognize it, you'll know what to do with it. But we have to learn that, right? And then the regulation, and we talked about the breathing, we talked about, meditation. This part is critical as well, because if you don't, and it's critical as well to do on a regular basis. Because if you don't know your body's baseline, if you don't know, what regulation and homeostasis and calm looks like for you, you're not going to know when you're off. So you got to practice that. And that's the whole part of regulation, because even if you can recognize it, if you can't regulate, it's still going to run wild. You got to learn how to regulate. You got to learn how to breathe. You got to learn how to do meditation so you can find that baseline so you can make the best decision. You never want to make any type of decision in an emotional state. And that's where a lot of grifters get you, because they get you all emotional and all riled up and everything like that. And they pitch it to you. They sell it to you. But why? Because they know if you're in an emotional state, I can make the sale a lot easier. Right.
Well,
And
you're
so
talking from a salesman myself, because that's what this is what I teach people how to do to make sales, because you got to put them in an emotional state to sell the dream that they have, and they buy the object. Because, and it's the same thing with this, right?
Yeah.
But boss, sorry to interrupt you, because I just have to hit you on that one.
Well, I mean, and it's not necessarily a bad thing used in the right way. Right. It's not a bad thing used in the right way. And not to go too far off the topic, but if I know, so for instance, if I know that my medicine can cure you, but if I just tell you that, hey, the medicine can cure you, and you're like, that's fine, but someone else down the street has some medicine that can kill you, but they're getting you all emotional. Oh man, it's gonna make you like this and this and this. There are a lot of people that are going to lose out simply because I'm not appealing to you, right? So just kind of throw that in there. When using the right way, it's not a bad thing, right? But just want to put that out there, right? When using the right way, it's not a bad thing, but unfortunately, a lot of people do use it in the wrong way, right? But it's kind of the same thing for us, right? We got to learn how to regulate so that, again, we can be in control, and then we know how to respond, right? And that's really important. As far as relating, honestly, the more you do this, the easier it is to relate to other people.
I would just say, you got to practice.
Yeah, you got to practice it, right? Because like, oh man, I understand. I've been there before. Hey, it's going to be okay, because now you can give hope to other people. It's going to be okay because listen, I was watching this video online from Boundaries and Brotherhood, and these guys were talking about, how we can regulate, man, and how we can learn our emotions, how it's okay to feel and things like that. And we just got to walk through it. Because the one thing I can say, Gordon, is that any guy I've worked with, when we start talking about emotional intelligence and they get to understand that, oh, it's okay to feel this. I'm not weak. I'm not emasculated. Like, this is normal. Other guys feel this too. Man, it's like a massive weight is lifted off of their shoulders, because like I don't have to live up to these societal standards that are lies that have been destroying me my whole life. So
I'm one of them. I can tell you straight up, I'm one of them to tell, like, when you've been told that emotions is not good, you got to be a man, you cannot express this, but then you don't understand what's going on with yourself, and you wonder why you keep going in and out of prison, or why you keep doing drugs, or why you keep going to the bottom, why you're looking for external validation, and you're trying to figure that out. It's all because you wasn't taught that in the beginning. And the trauma that you had from your parents. Some of you are carrying, like myself, are carrying your parents' unresponse to not them teaching. And that's what we carry on. And that's why I made it a very good point to break the cycle for me and my boys and my family, what I've learned working with Doc, working with the brotherhood. And this is why I'm so passionate about putting out positive stuff in the world, because if I can recognize my emotions, I can regulate the nervous system, I can respond accordingly, and I can relate to it and make you understand it with my freaking background. Anybody can do it. It's just a matter of if you're going to practice and be consistent about it. It's like working out, right?
Yeah.
You got to do some heavy lifting emotionally. You got to keep showing up every day. You got to do what works for you. And besides getting all bombarded with social media, what's going on in the world, all this stuff, and what you see regularly, it'll help you in the long run because you get to pass that on to the person you care about, to the people that you care about, so that you
Mhm.
can become a whole. And for me, camaraderie is big because that's the one thing I can tell you that I miss. The camaraderie what I had with the boys that was in prison. I don't like the place. I didn't like that. It's unfortunate, but I do miss the camaraderie. And this is
Yeah.
why brotherhood is so important to me. Just like the guys in the military, how important it is to have that camaraderie that they have, right?
Mhm.
And this is
Yeah.
what we want to provide for you gentlemen out there, right? All right. 001. The two.
All right. So this is, for this slide, guys, if anyone who can see it, so what we feel things in the body, right? Emotions have a physical and biological process that goes on. Right. So, for example, as this slide is saying right here, there might be tightness in your chest. If you're stressed out or if there's anxiety, you might be like your jaws might be clenched. If you're overwhelmed or depressed, you might have low energy. You might like lose like zest for life. Like there's a lot of these things going on. And again, tying right back to, but you won't know what to do with it if you don't know your baseline. You might just think this is normal. Oh, well, it's this time of year. And so I just feel it and I just sit in it. And your brain is like,
Mm.
well, why are we just sitting there? We're supposed to do something with it. But being able to recognize what's going on in our body, at all times, down to the very, oh man, I feel a little tinge in my baby toe, and that's what meditation can do for you. Right. And I'm not talking about sitting on a mountain somewhere, legs crossed and humming or anything like that. Which I mean, you could do that if you want to, but simply meditation is just this. Meditation is taking time where you cut off sensory from the outside world, right? So you're closing your eyes, it's nice and quiet, and you're being in tune with yourself. You're engaging in intentional mindfulness. So you're being aware of your body. You can do this with your eyes closed while you're laying down, while you're doing breathing, you're recognizing your chest going up and down. Some people can do it out in nature, right? Where it's peaceful. Again, there's not a lot of, outside stimuli. You're just engaging in that and kind of taking everything in. The goal is to understand what's going on inside of me and be in full, total, complete control. So being able to do meditation, you can do guided meditation. There are plenty of videos out there. I have some on my YouTube channel and things like that. But any guided meditation that works for you, it only takes about 10 to 15 minutes a day, right? It's a great way to start your day off, a great way to end your day as well. But that's how you start building it in, because then when you start feeling these things, you'll know, okay, something's going on. Because your brain may not get the message up here, but you might
Mm.
feel it in here. Like, man, why am I so tired? There's times where I experienced that, where I got up, got a full night of sleep, woke up and I was still exhausted. I'm like, whoa, what's going on? Why do I feel like exhausted? Like I'm struggling to get moving. Oh, I know why. I'm depressed. Oh, why are you depressed? Oh, because you're taking on way too much and you didn't get any chance to really recover or, play games or do something that's fun.
Have
So
to
your
balance
brain is
that.
still overloaded from the previous day, even though you got a night of sleep.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I need to do? Oh, I need to go and have fun. So I schedule
Me,
fun. And guess what
me too.
happens? It goes away. The
Yep.
depression, the overwhelm, all that stuff goes away. So long story short, being able to know your body. There's also something called progressive muscle relaxation as well, which is a little bit more direct in helping you to understand what's going on in your body, because you're actually clenching every single muscle in your body, starting at your feet and working all the way up to your head. And you keep doing that enough, and you're going to know when anything feels off at all. Because it's just like in business, the more you can keep your finger on the pulse of your business, if you're checking up on it every week, then if something comes up, a little slight thing comes up, a little hiccup comes up, a little warning sign comes up, you can fix it before it becomes big. But the longer you wait, if you're going from week to a month, from a month to a
No.
year or half a year or whatever, then by the time you get to that issue, it might be, oh, it's catastrophic at this point. So
Correct.
this is why it's so critical to be able to do these physical practices, there's somatic
Yes.
body practices, so you can actually learn your body, learn your baseline, and when something's off, you can actually intervene before it gets really, really bad.
No, I get it. It's like keeping like you said, a pulse on your bank account and fraud systems and everything else, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you let a credit card go and somebody frauds you, you don't even check it, or you check your bank account, or you don't look at it, at least monitoring it, even like your body, it's the same thing. because you still have to practice, you still have to monitor, you have to be consistent with everything that you do. Even for myself, you mean, because once you let things go and you don't put a thumb on it, or you don't like track it or anything else, you will lose it. It's the same like muscles. If you don't work out for a while, you will lose your stuff. You will lose your strength, you will lose your mobility, you will lose the drive. Now it's the same thing with this, because if you don't know how to control like the emotions with the body and the belief, things will go all away. And I've seen it happen a lot, right? Because that's what we want to provide, ways to get this done. Sure, we mentioned this as a workshop, but we can't go over it. It's going to be a 2 day maybe webinar, a challenge where you want to be in someplace here. By the time you finish working with us, you're going to be on a different level. I guarantee you that. Because at the end of it all, right, what you want to be able to do is improve your communication. If you're feeling ignored or you're feeling a certain way, you're going to see what the hidden costs of not providing for yourself and the complex processes that you have going on, so that we can fix it. That's just to name a few. Because between all these pillars, guys, there is a system that Doc created. I'm just his cheerleader, right? No, I'm just kidding. But but at the same time, this is what it's all about, because we have to get you consistent, and this is what the community is for. This is so you can understand yourself and what you got going on. Number two, how do we reset our nervous system, Doc?
All right. So in addition to doing the meditation, the progressive muscle relaxation, you're going to find out that, a breath work is really, really important. And people who say that, oh, breath work doesn't work, whatever. I'm telling you right now, it does work. Science shows that it works. We know it works in sports. We know it works. As first responders use it, like, Navy SEALs use
Breathe.
it, like, we
Like breathe.
know it works. Breathing has been studied out the wazoo. It works. The reason why it doesn't work for you is because you don't practice it. That's why it doesn't work
Like
for you.
anything else.
You're trying to use it when you're already at 100, while you already lost control. And it's, it's like, oh, breathe
Yep.
now. It's too late by that time, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about prevention from getting to those places. And so
Right.
that's when you use the breathing, right? When you need to, okay, I need to slow the thing down. And then, okay, let's relax. What's going on? Right. Again, we go back to the baseline. We start doing that self-talk. Right. And so I have one that I call 3-4-7 breathing, that really helps to just relax the body. Right. It really emphasizing the exhale, the nice slow exhale. So to breathe in for 3 seconds, you hold for 4 seconds, and you release for 7 to 8 seconds. Right. And really work on the exhale. And it's really to slow everything down. Right. So that, okay, we can get in a better place, get back to our baseline, and really start finding out what's going on. But there are other breathing strategies out there. There's also like the box breathing. I don't necessarily teach box breathing, but that is one where you inhale for 4, hold for 4, release for 4, exhale for 4, and then stay empty for 4, and then you rinse and repeat, right? I don't necessarily teach that. It's not bad or anything like that. It's just for what I do and the work that I do, my method is it works better for what I'm doing, right? But there is a place for box breathing as well. And again, like I said, first responders use it, Navy SEALs use it, and I believe it really is helping in those moments where you need to, okay, I need to settle down and lock in and focus because I got really serious things going on. I can't get out of control, right? What I'm doing, what the 3-4-7 breathing, it's not for situations like that. So there's even different breathing techniques for different situations. Again, you can learn them all. There's even breathing techniques that can actually get you hyped up, right? Like hyperventilating,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
That can get you hyped up, or screaming it really loud can really rev the system up. So it just depends on what you do. But again, for our purposes, the goal is to slow down so we can make better decisions, right? And so
We're
and
not
then move on
going to go to number 3. So we already
yeah,
talked about that. I
uh,
want you, because I know you got we got like 10 more
we
minutes,
got
5 more
4
minutes.
minutes. Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
And so this
We'll go with this
is
one.
okay. Yeah. And so as far as like the as far as co-regulation or whatnot, obviously help us to be around other people. Gordon was just talking about that, being in group, being in community where we can be open, where we can be honest, where we can share what's going on, when we learn how to communicate it the right way. And the SIR method would help you communicate it the right way, because you share the situation, you share the emotion, you share the reason, you share the request. It helps you to recognize, to convey that your emotions and thoughts and feelings the right way. And so by being able to do that, and you're able to talk to your brothers about it, and you guys have that connection, it helps to really release it, because just being able to talk about something with somebody makes a difference, right? So it's critical for us to be able to make sure we have that community, because the biggest lie is that we're going through it alone. But I'm telling you right now, most, if not all of us, are men, are experiencing very, very, very similar things. And I'm talking about across the board. It doesn't matter your culture, doesn't matter your race, doesn't matter your religion, doesn't matter any of that. You get down to the core of what's going on, and most of us are scared. Most of us, you want to be loved. Most of us want to be rejected. Most of us want to be appreciated, and all that. And we may just not know, a lot of times we just don't know how to convey that without feeling like we're going to lose, that sense of masculinity that society has given to us, which society is not a teacher of anything good. But that's a topic for another time.
All right. All right,
Yeah.
Doc, you got to go. I mean, if we got appointments, I'll finish this
Um,
all up. We'll do the call to action. You want to keep going?
Let's just push it to the last one, the last slide,
All
and
right.
then
There you go.
yeah.
The diagnostic.
All right. So when it comes to looking at yourself, guys, just to sum it up like this, right? You have emotions. You do. I know you do. Don't believe the line says I don't. Don't believe the lie.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I was born without them. No, you weren't. Everybody was born with them. We all have the
I've
same
told
exact
myself that too.
operating system, right? If you buy a PC, 9 times out of 10, guess what you're gonna have? You're gonna have a Windows on it, right? Or if you buy a Mac, guess what you're gonna have? You're gonna have a Mac operating system on it. If you're a human being, guess what program you're gonna have? You're gonna have the emotion program on you. All right. So we all have emotions. There's nothing wrong with having emotions. Feeling emotions doesn't make you weak. Crying doesn't make you weak. None of those things make you weak. What makes you weak is pretending you don't have them and put on this machismo thing where I'm, invincible and I can't be hurt and all these things like that. That's what's weak, right? Because you can't be a sovereign man if you can't regulate all your emotions and know what to do with it and be able to convey it and not be scared. And there's a whole idea of, well, what if it's weaponized against me? Once you know how to communicate and regulate and set boundaries and operate in excellence, it can't be used against you. It can't be used against you, right?
100%.
For one, you're not going to share information with people you don't trust, for one. And for two, if they does, people do try to use it against you, you're so regulated, you know yourself so much, you're so mindful, you have all this information, they can't bother you. Because then you could say, oh, so you're trying to weaponize the thing I told you against me? Okay, I got it. Listen, I'm done with this conversation, and I might just be done with this relationship. And then we walk away.
Yeah,
and then they might be big in the chest, like, okay, but guess what? Once you're gone, guess what? They're going to be clamoring for you, trying to come back and all that. So just keep that in mind. So take an honest look at yourself and ask yourself, hey, am I emotionally regulating the right way? Am I doing this the right way? Am I showing up the right way? Do I know my emotions? Do I know my baseline? Am I doing the things I need to do to make sure that I'm emotionally intelligent? Right? And whatever you're missing, you can get help for that. Right? That's what we're here for. We're here to help you so that you don't have to do it alone. So you can become the sovereign man that you were born to be.
Yeah, gentlemen, guys, we did good on our time. We missed 2 slides, guys. But if you're not take the assessment that Doc created and looking for direction, if you're not able to command the room or do anything that you want, it's time to take that governor off using your emotions, using all our teaching, using our background, using what we have in the workshops, in the community, the challenges, everything we have is built for you by us so that you can move the needle in your life. You want to challenge those thoughts. You want to be able to initiate the upgrade that you know you can do. Because let's face it, guys, everybody needs a brotherhood. Everybody needs camaraderie. Everybody needs a lot of things. But with what's going on in the world right now, you already know the alpha male mentality is getting obliterated. We just want to fill that gap. Yeah. Right? We just want to fill that gap. We're not here to steal you some bullshit, right? I've done that, right? But the morality of me and my integrity and what I got going on, I want to be remembered in a right way where I affected you positively. And we're going to leave with that. Guys, if you want this PDF, it'll be in the community for free. It'll be in our free courses section. This is where it's going to go. If you want to know what we're doing on the side with the webinars, the challenges, and a big workshop, stay tuned because everything's coming out. Guys, it's Gordon Watt from Boundaries and Brotherhood. Thank you for joining us. Reach out, please. Join the free community, right? At Boundaries and Brotherhood. Go to go.boundariesandbrotherhood.com. Get all the information that you want, guys. This is a lot of work in the making that we want to give you. Guys, we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Yeah. You guys take care. And again, like Gordon was saying, make use of this information, right? Like you can literally start changing your life right now if you start making use of this information. Right? But again, like he said, if you need something deeper, right? Because that's what the community is about. That's what the connection's about. That's what the coaching's about. The groups are about. That's what that's about, right? If you're someone who's a self-starter and it's like, you know what? Nope, got it. Got the slides. Know what I'm going to do. Boom, I'm good to go, right? Then phenomenal, right? Because the goal is to help men. That's the goal. So if this is helping you, phenomenal, great, right? You know, but if it's like, I need a deeper dive because there's more to it than this. There's more to it than this, right? And that's when you reach out and you let us know because we're here to help you. And like I say, with my business, my private practice, I always tell everybody in my videos there where they tell them that you are not alone. So
never alone.
Don't try to do it alone. You need help, reach out. Y'all take care. Have a great, awesome, and blessed day. And we'll see y'all next week.
Aloha. Bye.